Good afternoon, parents. Superintendent Glover from the Hillside Public Schools. I am using this time to share a few updates that I would like to deliver to the community, and I feel sometimes this is the best way to share information, and a video is much better sometimes than a voice call or even an email. I'm going to first begin by again saying thank you for allowing me to be your superintendent as we embark on a new journey together over the next few years. I'm excited about the role of being the superintendent and being the leader of our district. Thus far, I've had a great and exciting time. I understand this, the chair that I sit in is an important chair, and I take my work very seriously, and I want you to hopefully see that in the actions that I put forth under this leadership. While I know that this has been a little bumpy road over the last few days, please understand that we're going to get better. And in getting better means that we have to sometimes make a couple mistakes in order to make sure we right size. Ultimately, the goal is to make sure our students are in a safe, sound educational environment, and that's what I plan on doing. So I welcome you, and I thank you for allowing me to be welcomed so graciously, and I've met so many of you throughout the course of the days. Today's September 10th, and I think it's important for us to recognize and realize that tomorrow being the 20th anniversary of September 11th, that it has definitely had an impact on all of us. I recall myself the impacts of that day and what the images that are lasting in my head. I too have had family members and loved ones who were dramatically impacted by the events on that date. And while it's a date that has etched in the heads of all Americans, it's also a time for us to reinvigorate our civic engagement with each other and understand the importance of what it means to be citizens of this country. I think that the school is the best place to engage in those conversations. And I know there were conversations that took place across the landscape of our classrooms today, but I also want you to continue to emphasize that this is the most important time in our history and in our country for us to really engage civically with each other. New Jersey has civic education standards and the requirements that's coming on the books in the next year. But that doesn't mean we wait. We continuously help everybody understand what it means to be civically engaged, to be connected, and to also treat each other with the level of respect that our citizens deserve. So to those throughout our Hillside community, I look at us as a moment to reflect, to remember, never forget, and also to support those as we move forward in our work. And to those families who lost loved ones during the 9/11 period of time, my prayers continue to go out to you, and my prayers continue to say that we uplift each other. I met a retired fireman today who happens to actually work in our district, and in my head is automatically like go back and you thank them for their service no matter what fire department you were working for. But I also thank all of us for our service to each other in the community and our service to our children. So let tomorrow be a day of remembrance, but also let it be a day of rebuilding and reinvigorating our civic awareness. The first 2 weeks have been challenging for us, right? And we've had a variety of events that have happened. We've had the events of Hurricane Ida that has impacted many families in our community. And we've had the events of still understanding COVID and the rise and changes that's occurring. I understand that sometimes we just want to get back into our routines, but I think we have to also understand there's a space and a time for healing and understanding that trauma happens to all of us in a variety of ways. And the best way sometimes for us to move past those traumatic events that may have happened is that we need to sit still and just kind of recoup and reflect. And so we've all experienced some level of trauma coming out of the most recent events of the week, being the hurricane. I myself personally was impacted, but I recognize and realize that we do have to begin to put those steps forward. But my commitment to families is that our district is understanding that it takes time. So if there's anything we can do to be of service to you, please let us know. School is important and we want our children in school, but I also understand that it's important for families to take care of those things that will allow them to heal. So for those families that need us as a district to support them in any way we can, we will definitely look to our civic partners to make sure that our community partners to make sure that we get you the resources that can best support you as you rebuild and recover from the most recent events of Hurricane Ida that have impacted our community. As we get ready to launch into a full week of learning, and I understand that next Wednesday, so please, the 16th, I apologize, so please remember that the 16th we will not be in school. But as we get into really ramping up our full week of learning, I just want to remind our parents of a few things. It's essential that our students are in school, that they're essential that they're in school on time. Students will be taking the Start Strong assessment beginning next week. The Start Strong assessment is a way for us to gauge where our students are at walking into the school year. The Department of Education has initiated this assessment, and it's an assessment that began last year. That was kind of more of a pilot or option last year for districts, but this year is required. So all of our students in grades 4 through 10 will be taking Start Strong. There's a science component that will be taking place on one day. There's a literacy component, and then there's a math component. Expectation is that our students are in school so that they can be assessed. So please make sure you are preparing them for that. That begins next week. We're looking to begin that on Tuesday of next week. To that end, parents, we are still operating under the executive orders of the governor. We have Executive Order 251, which is the mask mandate for all of our students, and we have Executive Order 253, which is the expectation that our employees and staff members, state employees, are either vaccinated or they adhere to a testing requirements, weekly testing. In our district, it will be weekly. While there is some time before the final date of having all your documents in, we're asking that you please understand that we're still following the policies and expectations of the executive order. Therefore, students must come to school with their mask, and we must have our students fill out, and any students and parents fill out any required documents. We're asking that you please remember that it's important to complete the daily screener. The daily screener needs to be completed by 7 a.m. every day, every student. Our numbers have dramatically decreased from where we started a couple of days ago, but that is something that needs to be completed every day. So please make sure that you complete that daily screener so that our students can arrive to school and go directly to class. It's important that they're in class, because when they're in class, then they are able to be excited about learning and continue to love learning. Again, I want our great scholars in the classroom. So if our great scholars could be in the classroom, they can also then be able to start learning those things that's going to make them great citizens, as well as be prepared for the exciting work that we have in store for them that's going to make them even better learners. So that's by 7 o'clock every morning, and please make sure that is done to make sure we're screening for our students. Protocols for COVID have been put in place. Any positive tests that occur between students and staff, the protocols have been kicked in. We have the reopening plan that's on our website, as well as FAQs, frequently asked questions, that are also up there. So you can take a look at that on our website. You'll find that information. But we are following the local health department, the New Jersey Health Department, as well as the guidance that's been given to us in the road forward by the Department of Education. We're using best interests, and we're using common sense, and we want folks to understand the importance of making sure that we want our children to be safe, and we're trying to put all the safety measures in place that we can. Back to school night is going to be taking place during the month of September. The dates for back to school night will be on the website on Monday. Please make sure that you are adhering to those dates. This year's back to school night, as a way of still just putting safety measures up in place, will be virtual back to school nights. All of the classrooms and all of in our district will be virtual back to school nights. I understand that some folks were looking forward to coming into the classrooms, but in the spirit of safety, we're going to make sure that we use this time to get our schools open, make sure we're continuing to do the best cleaning that we can, and we feel if we really want to make sure our schools are in the right space, that back to school night should be virtual this year. But trust me, as soon as we can, we'll be having open activities where parents and students can come and understand what's happening in our school buildings. We also want to ask and just continue to remind you, I know that it's busy in the morning as we're dropping students off. We're trying to get them in the building, out the car, inclement weather days especially, but we need you to adhere to the safety rules for all of our students. Our primary goal is to make sure our students get from the car door to the school door, from the school door to the car door and the home door safely. So therefore, as you're dropping your students off, please listen to the guidance that's given by the administration and your traffic enforcement officers. We want every child to get into the school safely, and we want them to get back to you safely in the evening time. So please make sure you are adhering to those safety procedures that have been put in place. Board Member President Cook sent out a nice message asking parents just to be mindful. We all work together, and we are a community. We're a small community, but we're a community, and we look out for each other, and that's primary. I'm going to be using this platform on a regular basis to also begin celebrating our students and our staff. I want to celebrate staff right now. That's helped our schools get open, and that's our maintenance and custodial teams. They are led by our great facilities manager, Dave DeFlorio, and I thank you for the work that you've done in getting our schools to where they're at, especially when we then had our schools ready and then we had the hurricane come. But that has been tremendous support to walk in our schools, to see them inviting and just clean and well lit. So thank you to the maintenance and custodial teams of all of our buildings in our district. And there are so many other folks that I could give shout outs to, but you're going to get them from me throughout the course of this tenure of my work. And I say to my staff, and I say to my teachers, I say to my administrators, you are essential workers. Your work that you're doing is essential. And the teams that you lead is also essential. And the essential workers that we also have in our building that sometimes go forgotten are our students, because when they come in the building, we expect them to work as well. To all my staff members, from security, administrative assistants, any personnel in the building, parent volunteers, paraprofessional teacher aides, thank you, and I appreciate you, and I continue to look forward to our district moving in the right direction. I ask that you all have a great weekend. I look forward to seeing everyone Monday. In the event that there is any question that you have for us, please make sure you reach out. If we do not get back to you within a 24-hour period of time, it's okay to email. We're going to do better to make sure we are connected to you. Please have a great weekend. Thank you.